great liquor selection behind me. And I tell you what, after the week everyone else out there watching has had, I might snag one of these bottles and run off.
Well, they just got power back late yesterday here at Tremonti's.
So did myself, yeah.
Jefferson Highway near Parkview Baptist School and Church. So the menu's a little bit limited at lunch today, but they got a big truckload of stuff coming in. They'll have barbecue ribs for lunch tomorrow. And look, if you're watching the UCLA game and you need a platter of catfish or shrimp or boudin wraps or meat pies, crawfish pies, cake balls, Tremonti's.com, or stop by. They can get you taken care of. You're going to watch LSU UCLA tomorrow night at somebody else's house, or you got to bring something to the party you're going to. Tremonti's, connect on Facebook and Instagram. They'll be able to help you out, especially for tomorrow's game. And later today, they should have the stock back in. They will close 5 days due to the power outage.
So let's get into all the big topics going on in the world of sports here. We still have a little bit of Wi-Fi issues. We're actually connected on a hotspot, and also if it's service drops in and out a little bit, forgive us there. But first off, the city of Jacksonville and the mayor in Jacksonville and everybody associated with Jacksonville is absolutely losing their mind. What's that all about?
Well, Jeff Duncan, who recently returned to write down there for NOLA.com, be the Saints beat writer, all that good stuff. He was Saints had a lot of reasons why they picked Jacksonville for this home game. It's a Saints home game. So they had a lot of reasons for picking Jacksonville. And not all of them were favorable. They call it not a destination place. Green Bay Packer fans wouldn't scoop up all the tickets like if it was in Miami or it was in Las Vegas. Dallas was kind of off the table due to a concert. Hey,
all right. I think we're back. Again, we told you, having some
there's been issues for everybody,
We have some gremlins going on in the Wi-Fi world. But anyway, getting back to Jeff Duncan, basically is not going to run for mayor in Jacksonville. Tell us why again.
They're not happy with him. Let's just put it that way. But hey, all he did was, speak what he found out to be the true story. I mean, Jeff's an accomplished writer. He's been around for a long time. He didn't just throw something out there. I mean, he went with it, and it kind of makes sense when you read what he did, because even though it's a home game for the Saints, they don't want to shift that advantage over to the Packers in any kind of way, whereas if they were playing somewhere and the Packer fans loaded it up, and Saint fans who are, the greater New Orleans area devastated from Hurricane Ida, probably not in this position to travel like they would be if there wasn't a hurricane. So Saints are trying to do everything they can to create the home atmosphere and win a football game, a season opener against, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. So, the Saints have been practicing in Dallas. They're going to stay in Dallas, but the workouts will go over to TCU, the Texas Christian University. They'll work out there and then go straight on over to Jacksonville the day before the game. They're not going to have an extended stay there. And then they'll play the game. Still to be determined where other games will be. I did read something where they hope to be back at home in late September. Of course, there's a lot of things that have to happen before that would take place.
Well, I'll tell you this, Tommy. The situation with Jacksonville is a crazy one, because anybody with any kind of common sense can figure out why the Saints chose Jacksonville over Tampa or Miami. It makes absolute perfect sense. You didn't have to have Jeff Duncan write that article for you people to realize Saints want a very neutral site. Saints, they know New Orleans fans can't travel last minute with everything that's going on. They know the Green Bay Packers have great fans all over the country and great support, and there's no direct flights from Green Bay to Jacksonville. Plain and simple. It's a harder get. It's more expensive. All the things that were mentioned in the article really anybody who thought about it for 30 seconds could come up with all of that. So for the city of Jacksonville, for the mayor and the chamber and everybody else to lose their mind, and they're literally trying to ban him from the city. They're trying to ban him from the stadium and ban him from the city, which sounds to me like 1930s Germany. You know, I mean, you can't ban somebody in the United States of America for an opinion. By the way, it's sports we're talking about, people, and it's an article. I mean, it's absurd, and unfortunately, they're not joking. Like, this isn't like a joke, like it's a friendly banter back and forth between mayors with a sack of crawfish bet on the line or something. This is like people that are really upset and really want Jeff Duncan to be banned from the stadium. It's absolutely absurd. If you needed reason to cheer against the city of Jacksonville and the Jaguars and everything else going on over there, now you got another one.
But it takes a little heat off of Urban Meyer because they've been crushing him over there. One thing I do want to mention, Ronnie, the Saints cannot and will not play at LSU like they did a few years ago. NFL changed the policy. All NFL games have to be in an NFL stadium because they're all equipped for the replay review stuff, you know, to Command Central and all that. So, you know, like they did a few years ago, it can't all of a sudden be in Tiger Stadium or any other college facility for any team. That's not specific to the Saints. So if you're a Tiger fan and you were maybe thinking they're playing in Baton Rouge, that will not be the case. Must play in an NFL stadium. That's like a year or two ago they made that rule.
And look, it's still too soon, right? I mean, like, there's plenty parts of Baton Rouge and the surrounding area that still don't have power.
I don't have it.
And you're right. And who knows if you're going to have power in a few weeks. And even if you do everybody gets power back, say next week, and then you can have a game a couple days later, it's just not the right place, time, anything like that. This city is basically the staging area to fix all of South Louisiana, and it needs to be that for the coming months ahead. They don't need to be worrying about playing an NFL football game here. It's bad enough they're going to eventually play a college football game next Saturday, and that's going to be a distraction and take up rooms and cause more, traffic jams and everything like that. So I think it's a good idea. The NFL set the precedent, said, hey, the rule is you find a neutral site. There's going to be a field somewhere. And it's not just for the Saints. They set this up for hurricanes, wildfires, everything else that could possibly happen, landslides, flooding, whatever, terrorist attacks. This is kind of a protocol where they know they got their list of stadiums that are available every week somewhere in case they need it.
Right. No, and that's the way it's going to be. So that's that there. But, lo and behold, week from Sunday, it's still at 3:25 Louisiana time kick. Still on Fox.
How about the stat that Aaron Rodgers, I believe, was 3-4 all time in Florida? Maybe
that's another reason, huh?
3-4 all time in Florida.
Hey, anything to get an edge, right? Yeah. You know that.
Yeah.
Anything to get an edge. It's like you're on the mural over there at Breweries and Walk-On. You're trying to get an edge with that pitch.
Well, I do have an edge over Buzzy on that, but
no
because
doubt.
He's not on the wall. But
that's
although
beautiful.
we are going to try to find a urinal somewhere over there to put a picture of him diving on the pile in 2009. But no, it's going to be more of a spring game feel, I think, over in Jacksonville for that opener. I think the Packers are going to travel well. I mean, regardless of the attempt by the Saints, they've got a great fan base. They know think about it. The Packer fans, they're thinking Super Bowl. They know they've got a chance to play in a Super Bowl. Saints aren't thinking Super Bowl. Saints are just hoping that they can make the playoffs with Jameis Winston. We know Tampa Bay is going to win a division and play in the Super Bowl in the NFC. It's just, can the Saints do enough to keep their head above water and maybe make the playoffs? That would be quite an accomplishment the year after Drew Brees and with Michael Thomas and everything else going on, and the salary cap strangle that's on the Saints. So you get different expectations. This may be the last year that Aaron Rodgers plays in a Green Bay Packer uniform, probably is. So all that goes into it. The fans in Florida have never seen Aaron Rodgers. Here's your chance. For those that are Packer fans, this is your last year. You're probably going to have him. Here's your chance to win the Super Bowl. So it's going to be a 50-50 crowd, if not a heavy Green Bay Packer favorite.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. And, of course, there'll be a lot more talk on the Saints next week. So footnote on that. Monday we'll do a Sports Shows Daily, approximately 1 o'clock, as soon as Coach O finishes his press conference recapping the UCLA game. We'll hit you with Sports Shows Daily Monday afternoon. A lot of Tremonti's is closed due to Labor Day. A lot of other people have the different hours. So that'll be Monday afternoon after Ed Orgeron. We can rehash that LSU UCLA game. Point spread down to 2.5.
Point spread 2.5. What a surprise. I mean, it was 4.5, and then here we are, a matter of a week, it's down to 2.5, and the over-under has plummeted by about 6 points. So what do you think the reason is for that?
I think the wise guys are getting duped by Hawaii. They're thinking that Hawaii is
better than they are.
Yeah, and they're not. I mean, and I mean, the quarterback for UCLA completed 50% of his passes against Hawaii. That ain't gonna work against LSU. They ran the ball pretty well. LSU doesn't think they're going to be able to run the ball. So, and then look, I heard all this talk on the national shows. LSU's got these 2 new coordinators. Look, it's about who's wearing the uniform, not who the coordinator is. LSU's got more football players than UCLA, and, that's provided they play well, it should be okay. Could they lose? Yeah, possibly. I mean, UCLA is good enough that, if they're in the game in the fourth quarter, get a break, scoop and score, something like that. But LSU's a better football team, I promise you.
Listen, I think it's natural that you get caught up in what happened last year, particularly on the first game this year. But listen, last year was abysmal. And then, not to TOB, a famous Skip Bertman term, transfer of blame, but think about all, we've been through all the distractions and the list of all the excuses. This team is, especially on that defensive line, is a veteran team, an older team. They're just not going to play that bad. Like, that was a terrible defense. And oftentimes I think we get carried away in thinking that automatically going from one year to the next, it makes you that much better, right? We get so caught up in returning players. It's kind of like that LSU offensive line. A lot of returning players, but yet it wasn't that great of an offensive line. I just think last year was it was just something different. It was out of the blue. With COVID and coming off the national championship and all the coaching changes and just, I mean, are we going to play? Are we not going to play? This guy sits out. That guy said, should I sit out? And then you throw in the political angle of what happened last summer and everything and the protests, and it was just such a bizarre year on so many different levels that and then no fans, right? Or minimal fans. I mean, you go to an LSU game, it felt like, going to a Tulane game. I mean, it wasn't the same feeling. Sorry. Well, I mean, let's just, own it, right? Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Beautiful campus on beautiful stadium on campus. Love the idea. But the bottom line is that I just think too good of players. They've had the full workout and the full focus. They're not going to play that bad again on defense. No way.
Like we said the other day, they've been NFL players this week. They're in an NFL facility of the Houston Texans. There was no class, no girlfriends, no other stuff that happens when you're a college kid. They're just doing football. And then they're flying out today. I don't know what time. They're going to get out to L.A. You saw Coach O's quote. I think I sent it to you. He said, yeah, we're going to take the kids over to the Rose Bowl on Friday, so you can take pictures and everything, and look around. He goes, because we ain't taking pictures Saturday.
Yeah,
Coach O laying it on him. And look, he's coached in the stadium many times. Ronnie, the Rose Bowl holds just over 90,000 people. I gotta believe LSU's gonna have as many fans there as UCLA, if not more. But as you mentioned, it's a scramble for flights.
It's a scramble for flights because when you think about it, most fans. What most fans are, we're planning to go out of New Orleans. There's a lot more options. There's a lot more direct flights, all that sort of thing. Your population travels more out of New Orleans than they do anywhere else. But all the flights are canceled, and so people are jumping on anything remaining in Baton Rouge. Most people are having to go to Houston. The good news about Houston is it's a 4-hour drive from Baton Rouge, but if you get there, it's direct to LAX. I'm very fortunate, Tom. I booked the United flight, the one flight going direct from Baton Rouge to LAX. So I'm excited about that. I'll be flying out this afternoon. But there's a lot of fans that aren't going to go. I mean, there's no question with everything that happened and transpired with your homes all over Louisiana. There's a lot of fans that just decided, well, with the hurricane, I'm not going. And then if you're on the teeter-totter and you throw in my flight got canceled out of New Orleans, well, you get your money back and it's an easier, most people don't want to drive to Houston. So it's going to be a lot less fans that make the trip out than what originally were planned. But Just think about it. If you're an LSU fan and you live anywhere, Vegas, Phoenix, anywhere in California, Seattle, and there's a lot of alumni, right, from LSU that live West Coast, you're going. You're going to this one. You know it doesn't happen very often, and LSU's in your backyard.
Well, I've never played in the Rose Bowl Stadium, and that's an iconic. It's almost 100 years old. It's like 98 or 99 years they've been using it. And, of course, I grew up, the Rose Bowl was a big game, the parade. And, and I always remember UCLA and USC playing, and they would both wear – UCLA would wear the blue, USC would wear the red. They wouldn't go with the different color because of the fanfare of the game. So I remember that as a little kid. That was a huge thing. So, it's great for LSU with all the tradition they have in the history of the football program. They'll be able to finally say they played a football game in one of the iconic stadiums in college football history, the Rose Bowl. There's even been a Super Bowl or two, I want to say, at the Rose Bowl.
Right. Well,
I know one. I don't know if it's more than one.
Yeah, I had to be there for this. I mean, when I saw this game on the schedule years ago, this is probably the only time in our lifetime that we'll see LSU play in a Rose Bowl. So this is one you just got to go to. Unfortunately, it won't be 90,000 people, but
they're in the rotation for the national championship. Like this year, people don't know it, but the national championship game's in Indianapolis this year. So sooner or later. But no, it's special that LSU is going to play in the Rose Bowl Stadium. That's definitely a big thing.
Unfortunately, it's going to feel different. This is going to feel more like the games last year in Tiger Stadium, where you got this mammoth stadium and it's 25% full or something like that. But still, the one thing that always stood out to me over the years when I watched the Rose Bowl, and you think about the Rose Bowl, I watched World Cups in the Rose Bowl, Olympic soccer matches and things like that, as well as, of course, football. But I always was just amazed at how beautiful the surface was. The playing surface was just always pristine. I mean, the grass was the greenest grass you've ever seen. The paint was absolutely perfect. And so I'm curious to see that. You always have little mountains in the background and everything. So I'm looking forward to it. Not looking forward maybe to the traffic.
So are you working or are you just going?
No, I'm actually just going. Okay. I was supposed to do
I didn't mean to blindside you with that.
Yeah, no, I was supposed to do the CST pregame stuff, interview Coach O, and do a package and all for the pregame, but with the hurricane and all that's been postponed the next week.
So you would have done that had he been in town like Wednesday or something.
Right, done that Wednesday and then did the pregame stuff. But
you're just going as a fan.
Going as a fan.
And a former LSU.
Absolutely, going as a fan. And
cool.
Which I don't get to do very often too, so that's going to be fun. And LSU alumni are having a giant tailgate. Sally Steele and her team over there with LSU alumni having a big old, they were expecting 2,000-3,000 people for their tailgate. Will the numbers be a little down? Who knows? But that's going to be a lot of fun. So looking forward. You already told me a story about the Hollywood sign.
Yeah, the Hollywood, the big white letters on the mountain. They've added SU underneath one of the L's, so it looks like Hollywood LSU. Of course they did. And I got a couple of people that might have done it, but I'm going to hold that back because I don't have the facts. So, and they're taking over. I saw a lot of pictures on Rodeo Drive last night and other people in restaurants. And, there's definitely some purple and gold in Hollywood, no doubt.
Vanderpump Rules. Do you know that TV show, Tommy?
Never heard of it.
It's on Bravo channel. Do you get that channel at your house?
I probably get it, but I don't watch it.
So they have a restaurant called Sir, and then they have another bar called Tom Tom. It's on the show. I've been watching Vanderpump Rules for years. It's on Bravo channel. So I will be tonight having a cocktail at Sir and Tom Tom. Looking forward to it.
Oh, man, that's great. I wish I would be there with you, but I won't. I'll be
You're not a Sir Tom Tom kind of guy, I can tell you. There's not a Cadillac. There's not an Ice House kind of bar in Hollywood.
Hey, look, I can kick it up if I need to.
I mean, Sir and Tom Tom. You need to do a little research before you say you'd be joining me at Sir and Tom Tom. I don't know about that.
Okay.
But for those three people out there, look, Rachel, she knows. Rachel's on there. She goes, that's awesome. She knows. I'm gonna be. I'll send you some pictures. Rachel Goff from Sir and Tom Tom tonight. I'm hoping I can maybe get some food too, but at least I'm going to go to the bar and get a drink at both of those places.
Good. Well, I think you'll have a great time. You go see.
She wanted to know what's going on over here at Tremonti's with the meat. Do they?
They're
stocking
their
full assortment.
They're stocking the meat case now. They'll be full by a little bit later this afternoon. There's a big truck coming in shortly. Lunch specials, jambalaya today instead of the normal fried catfish with crawfish etouffee. They were scrambling. They were closed for 5 days due to the power outage. So Tremonti's.com, I'll give them a call. Stop by. There's plenty of steaks and sausage and chicken and pork. I mean, there's still plenty to choose from. And if you need something for the party, home gating, that you're going to be watching the game tomorrow night, just get with Tremonti's. They'll have it set up for you tomorrow. Just tell them how many people. They know how to do this. 12 people, 50 people, they know what to do.
Oldest dude on TikTok, Tommy Krysan. Give the listeners out there a winner tonight and then one tomorrow.
Houston Astros tonight, okay? Slight favorite, but they're going to get Urquidy's throwing. Arrieta's throwing for the Padres. He's been terrible. They picked him up late. So there's a free pick for you.
Astros tonight over the Padres.
9:10 it starts. You'll be in time when it starts, okay? So that's a good one for you. Dan, of course, my huge announcement. No, first I got a Sunday night football pick for you.
Okay, got a free Sunday night pick for
football.
you. All right, mark it down.
You ready for this, Ronnie? Florida State plus 7.5 in Tallahassee against Notre Dame. They're honoring Bobby Bowden. His signature is going to be on the helmet. It's going to be an emotional night with Bobby Bowden passing away. They're getting 7.5 points. Take the Seminoles. Notre Dame got a new quarterback.
That's a ballsy pick.
Hey, I mean,
because the Florida State's been awful,
but
if
they're honoring Bobby Bowden.
You think the ghost of Bobby Bowden's going to make a difference against a Notre Dame team that's highly sought?
Filling in a lot of holes. Okay. All right, my major announcement. I launched a website last night, meatandpotatoesusa.com. If you bet football, go check it out. meatandpotatoes USA.com.
They know how to spell potatoes.
I'm making sure they spell the A&D in the middle. Meatandpotatoesusa.com. It's all over all my social media stuff. Going to be dropping some podcasts later today with Anthony Gallo and Trey Blossman with some of their college picks. But if you bet on football, you know somebody that does, check out meatandpotatoesusa.com. I think I sent you a flyer.
You did.
On that.
So let me ask you something. Where'd the name come from and all that? And man, it's long.
I worked in Las Vegas with Dave the Meat Man Scandaliato. This website is dedicated to him. He died unexpectedly of a heart attack February of 2020, a couple weeks before the pandemic. By the way, Hurricane Ida blew the pandemic out of Louisiana. I haven't heard COVID in 6 days.
There is no COVID anymore.
So anyway, Dave had a site, and I sold picks out there in Las Vegas. I did very well. Went 9-2 on the SEC Lock of the Week. And it was making some money. It was really growing. And unfortunately, he passed away. So I'm stealing his idea, and I was beating myself up for the name. I said, I'm going to call it Meat and Potatoes. Well, meatandpotatoes.com, I guess he paid for it for multiple years. So I had to put the USA on there to get the .com, which I did. Within the last 4 or 5 months. That's why I've been doing TikTok and building up all my stuff.
So if someone accidentally goes to meatandpotatoes.com, what's there?
It's nothing. But they wanted me to pay $500 to search for the owner.
Right.
And I thought I remember Dave telling me he paid for that for 10 years.
Right.
So it's not going to be free. So meatandpotatoesusa.com. That was the way I wanted the .com. And actually there's a page on there, The Meat Man, a little picture of Dave and my comments about him. It's dedicated to my friendship with him for over 25 years and his memory. The Meat Man, Dave, he loves these shirts at Tremonti's. Good man, good meat ain't cheap, cheap meat ain't good. Mike brought him one in Vegas, put it in his hand a few years ago.
That's cool. Well,
but that's how you got the name. So just check it out, meatandpotatoesusa.com. Football picks, college, NFL, all fall.
I need to get one. I need to get a T-shirt, Meat Man Meat and Seafood, for my 3 months selling meat door to door in Phoenix. So you got meatandpotatoes.com, and I'm the OG Meat Man Meat and Seafood from back in 1990. I think it was 95, 94, 95. In Phoenix, Arizona, sold frozen meat and seafood door to door for about 3 months.
Mickelson?
I did. I delivered.
You brought a pizza to Phil.
Phil Mickelson.
Did he tip you?
I don't remember it being unbelievable. I remember it being Phil. I mean,
well, he wasn't. He hadn't had.
Yeah, but I knew a lot about him because he played at Arizona State and he won 3 national championships there, and he was a star in college, and he was all over the news in Phoenix, and that's where my family was living. So I was aware of Phil before he became the star on the PGA Tour. But that said, I did sell meat to Devon White, the former center fielder for the Toronto Blue Jays. That was the big star. I didn't sell much meat, Tommy. That's why I got out of it after about 3 months.
Well, then surely after that, you and I were doing radio in Denham Springs.
Imagine buying meat from a stranger who just shows up at your door, not in a uniform, dressed just like this, right? Shows up and says, hey, you want to buy? I got some meat in the back of my Ford Explorer. I had a box, like an insulated wooden box that had that thick of insulation, and then you'd take dry ice bags and put it in there, and then you'd go to the plant or go to the meat marketplace where they had the individually wrapped, sealed, vacuum sealed meat, and whether it was lobster tails or fillets or ribeyes or chicken breasts, whatever, and it was in the boxes, kind of like Schwann's and that type of thing. So this would be in my. So in the morning, I'd go get my meat and seafood for the day. Tell them what I wanted. Load it in the back of my truck. I'd go sell whatever I didn't sell. I'd return back to the plant. And obviously it stayed frozen. There was plenty of, so it stayed frozen. So but who the hell would buy meat from a guy, a stranger that they don't know? It just shows up at their door like that. It was just a different time.
So this was a cash only thing?
Yeah, I think maybe checks too.
So you brought stuff back and they gave you credits.
Oh right, yeah.
When I sold popcorn at Championship Wrestling in Xiamen,
you had to buy it ahead of time?
They had like 20 boxes. I had to have the money add up, and there were 2 boxes left. I had to have money for 18 boxes.
I don't remember.
And I did that because we got it free. Right. Sold the popcorn during the BS events, and then we would scream and holler at the St. Bernard Parish Civic Auditorium.
Yeah. Devin, thanks for watching. I appreciate the comment.
One thing I want to mention real quick: Gulf Coast Occupational Medicine, Airline Highway, almost to Ascension Parish.
I went there and got a COVID test back a year ago.
Basically across from the fairgrounds. Gulf Coast Occupational Medicine. A couple of friends of mine, Kickstand Kitchen, Kyle Rome, Randy Rocket. They're selling pastelaya lunches today, and for every one they sell, they're going to donate one next week to an area of need in Baton Rouge or Ascension Parish. So stop by Gulf Coast Occupational Medicine, get your pastelaya lunch because you'll be helping somebody else who really can use a lunch next week. Great job by Randy and Kyle for doing that, and Sarah at Gulf Coast Occupational Medicine for hosting them. It's a drive-through. They got it all set up. You can go do it.
All right, good deal. And obviously, you can.
You don't like my Florida State pick? I'm surprised.
I'm just shocked.
Bobby
of all the games out there, that's the one you like. I think it's just I think it's a risky pick. You're going to look like a genius.
7.5 points.
You're going to look like a genius.
I'm not on the money line. I got 7.5.
I get it, but Florida State's been trashed.
Notre Dame lost a lot of players, including Ian Book. That's with the Saints now.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you win, we'll be back on Monday.
Monday afternoon, right after Coach O.
As soon as Coach O speaks, we'll pop up on the air. But I tell you, you're pretty aggressive with that Florida State pick.
I'll either be smart or dumb.
I'm gonna put a little on it just because I want to support the oldest dude on TikTok and meatandpotatoesusa.com. But I'm gonna tell you that there's other games I think I might like a little more than that. And you can check it out tomorrow. Sports Shorts Radio, 10 to noon. On ESPN Radio.
That's right, I'll be there.
We'll be there. I'll be live out in
Calandro's
California. We'll have Dan Canterbury joining us, Joel Davis. Other guests on the phone will be at Calandro's on Government Street, right across from Woodhaven. So he's Tommy. I'm Ronnie.